I'm often asked, how do you know when a painting's finished? And of lately, I've been saying, basically the painting is never finished. The painting finishes you. You don't finish the painting. And I think this is, the fact that you mature and you change. I don't mean mature so much as you change. And in changing, you become not a different artist, but, you have maybe your values change. My wife has a particular kind of an eye that she can relate to a quality of my work that has a good chance of selling. But other than that, I have friends that, like the work and say it's good or something like that. I never believe it. I tell the story of having quit painting once for a number of years because I felt that the way I painted had been under the influence of teaching. In other words, people telling you what's good and what's bad, and you tend to erase what's bad, you keep what's good. And then at one point, I sort of said, well, gee, the bad, I'm responsible for that, and there must be something there. You can't just dismiss it by saying, oh, well, he said that's bad, this is good. So I just sort of quit painting and went into sculpture for a while. And eventually went back to painting with the idea that I was going to be a new man. And of course I wasn't. The painting was exactly the same as when I had quit. This thing is really going poorly. It's, what it is, it's those two legs. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but I don't think it's going to work. That's one of the reasons you paint. You can make things disappear. Make them appear and make them disappear. I don't consciously say I want this to be dreamy, but maybe I unconsciously want it to be that way, because I will leave out a lot of detail in a figure. I'll leave out a lot of musculature. I won't realize the person as a thing of hard surface, flesh and blood and bone. Very often I'll use my wife. I won't set her down and paint her, but I'll use her having lived with her for 40 years. I know what she looks like. And I will, paint. I'll use her feet and hands a lot. And sometimes the way she wears her hair or the shape of her face or her nose, which, these things I can do sort of readily. Velasquez, I think, Velasquez is, for me, probably my favorite painter in a funny kind of way. And he could get the paint to just do incredible things with the least amount of fiddling around. I can tell you about the boats showing up in the paintings. They came about from simply looking at Manet's Kearsarge in Alabama, a Civil War painting of two boats that Manet painted having a battle off the coast of France. And somehow I got into looking at the way that the water was painted. I loved the way the water was painted, and I did a copy of it. I sort of started copying it, and I became sort of enamored of boats in water. Well, I try, to make the figures provocative, I think. And I think if you have a provocative figure, you figure there's a story there somehow. These are all new paintings, these 4 here. And I've done a lot of collage work in the past. Chewing gum wrappers are new. I like the painting. That particular one, I really like it. I don't know why, but I like it. I'll work, take something out and put it away for maybe 1 or 2 years. And let me pull out a work that I've been working on for a few years. I refer to it as sort of a homage to Busby Berkeley at one point. Everybody, sees the kind of horrific connotations in it, but you got to remember, for a painter, when he does something, even if it's horrific, if it's good, he's delighted. And he can't see it as horrific, he just sees it as delight of having done something very wonderful. These are recent sculptures, recent in the last 20 years. I'm working on this one now, as we speak. They just build over the years.
Are these clumps of paint as well?
Yeah, they're just clumps of paint that I scrape off of my palette. An interesting thing is, when I come to the studio, very often I have no sense, I think for the most part, I have no sense of how old I am, what I've been through in years. That when I come to the studio, I'm just this thing here in the studio that paints.